Chess puzzles are oftentimes the primary source of self study. Particularly, I would say if you are below, I would say probably 1600, tactics are going to be what you're mainly going to want to study. Of course, you want to understand the fundamentals of occupying the center, you want to understand the fundamentals of openings, but you are going to see your greatest increase, of course, after you learn the fundamentals of what I just said, occupying the center and just developing in the opening, but you're going to see the biggest payoff in dividends when you get really good at tactics. Now, chess.com has this thing called Puzzle Rush. I mean, they also got puzzles as well, where it's just giving you puzzle after puzzle, like increasing level at whatever level that you're closest to. But in this case, Puzzle Rush starts slow. I mean, easy, and it warms you up to the higher puzzles, higher level puzzles. So my goal when I do Puzzle Rush is to get at least 50. So in this video, I'm going to attempt to get to puzzle number 50. And my another secondary goal I have is to do the first 40 without getting one wrong. Now, you might think that that's a lot. But again, what I want to tell you to do is that set yourself a goal with these puzzles. Say, I want to get through the first 10, the first 20, or the first 30, whatever your number may be. And say, I want to get through these puzzles without making any mistakes, but also set your maximum number. Say, all right, I want to get to puzzle number 30, but I want to get to, say, the first 15 right without making a mistake. That way you're kind of holding yourself accountable. So anyways, you see here on the screen, chess.com has this Puzzle Rush again that starts out at low levels and work your way up. So when you come to chess.com, you're going to go over to puzzles, excuse me, to the right side of the screen. And when you click puzzles, you're going to see Puzzle Rush as one of those options. When you click Puzzle Rush, a screen will pop up and ask you, do you want to play 3-minute, 5-minute, or survival? I recommend playing survival. Reason being is that you just want to get the most out of your puzzle. If you want to challenge yourself with a time limit such as 3 minutes or 5 minutes, by all means, it's nothing in the world wrong with that. But I'm going to just advocate doing a survival mode because it's untimed and you're really having time to internalize the puzzle, internalize the pattern, and also you're having time to formulate a plan. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and click play and Puzzle Rush will begin. So what my goal here is that I'm just going to explain how I'm thinking about the puzzle and just give you, especially if you're all the way as low as 3, 4, 500 rating or all the way up to say 16, 1800 or even higher, I'm going to give you just some ideas of what to think about. So don't forget, always when you're playing, just remember the mnemonic, or not necessarily the mnemonic, but the phrase checks, captures, and force moves. Look at those 3 things in that order, and you're almost always, as particularly in puzzles, you're going to find something if you do that. So in this case, if we look at the available checks that's available, we can see that white has a check here, and once white queen gets to F7, black has no escape square, so this is just mate. So some of the more easier puzzles, particularly black back rank puzzles, I'm gonna go through pretty quickly. So again, this is just a back rank issue. Once if you look at the queen here on this diagonal here, once we move this rook out of the way and deliver a check, that's actually going to be checkmate. In this case here, still a back rank weakness that whenever we see this check that we talked about looking at first, we can see that there's nothing that can block that check, there's nothing that can capture that rook, and there's nowhere the king can run, so therefore this here is checkmate. Same thing again here, this is technically checkmate in 2. And in this case, this is a back rank weakness, but you also, again, if you look at the available checks, what's the only check you have? Well, not only check, the only reasonable check you have in this position is here. And therefore, only this bishop can block, only this rook can block, but they cannot support each other. So that means that this will end up as a checkmate in 3. Just like that. All right, so now in this case, this is a back rank weakness, but pay attention. you can deliver this check in a case like this because don't forget your your queen and rook is forked. So the first thing you want to do is get out of this fork. So if you see this check here, well, and you see that these three squares are covered. So when you deliver this check, you automatically know we didn't finish that puzzle out, but queen two, I think, what was that? I think 6 was made. But anyway, in this case, this is another version of back rank weakness. Okay, so first of all, you see, well, you're down 2 pieces here. So you figure, okay, if I go ahead and take this piece here, I recuperated a piece. But however, now always remember back rank weakness. There's always easy way to sacrifice your queen. So in such a case, you put your queen here and rook takes the queen, this rook here will deliver me. Let's see what we have going on here. Now this here is just, again, if you think about checks, captures, and force move, if we look at basically the only check in the position, which is here on our h7, we can quickly see that that right there should just lead to checkmate. All right, so again, if you look at this, checks. Now again, the first 10 to 15 puzzles are going to be pretty straightforward. So that's why this is going pretty easy for now. Although I think in this puzzle, you're supposed to look at the fact that, oh, my rook is attacked. What am I going to do? Well, you could take the rook here with, take the knight with check with the rook. That, probably still might be winning, but don't forget, you're down a significant amount of material here. Much better is to take your queen and deliver this check, and that will be checkmate. Now, this is another one where, although checks, captures, and force moves are in effect, what you're supposed to see is that, oh my God, he's threatening mate. There's no way for me to get out of it. What can I do? But if you look at this diagonal here, and if you also look at this square here that's blocked off by this bishop here, you can quickly see that there's a checkmate in 2, because the only way to stop this is to back the queen up once you deliver this check, and well, that'll just be mate just like that. Now this here is again pretty straightforward in terms of if you think about checks, captures, and force moves. Only one reasonable check. Now you have several checks. You could check here on this square. That's not reasonable. You can check here on this square. That's not reasonable. You can even capture this bishop. That's got check, right? But that is not reasonable. The only reasonable check is to take your knight and put your knight right here on c6. And if you look at it, black has no escape square, so that's checkmate. Now, in this case, you're not down any pieces, but you are down some material, and white does have a passed pawn. But however, following our mantra of checks, captures, and force move, okay, so there's nothing, and don't forget your queen is under attack here at this point. There's nothing wrong with going ahead taking this check. So even if you don't see this all the way through, you can probably see it after you make a move. So after you make this move, then you come back to the same idea that you seen earlier, is that, oh, I can sacrifice my queen because these squares right here are basically smothering, I guess back rank checkmate is sort of a somewhat version of a smothered mate, because the king is smothered by his own pieces. So when you go here and sacrifice your queen, it's just simply mate. Let's see here. Now this, okay, this is a bit, this is interesting here. Now there is no immediate check anywhere, right? But as we can see, take a look at black's queen. Look how vulnerable that queen is. Because, for example, the only escape squares the queen has at the moment, if we were to attack it, is somewhere on this diagonal and this square. So first of all, we see if we can move this bishop here, we can restrict black to only moving here. And then guess what? We can further attack the queen with this pawn. So this is just basically being able to see just 2 moves. So sometimes when you look at an opponent's queen, on the board, pay attention to how many, just like you may have paid attention to how many escape squares that a king could have, you can also do that to a piece as well. So we go here. There's only one reasonable move for black, and that was, well, queen to b4, but then comes a3, and the queen is lost. Now, in this case, this is just a pawn race, and you're going to see that this pawn here is going to go all the way up here, and also it's covering this diagonal here, and these pawns are just too slow, and that's just simply what this is all about. And don't forget, at some point, if it was necessary, you know, you could probably get a lot of checks with your queen as black, because you're going to get a queen first, gobble up these two pawns, and then sacrifice your queen for these two pawns here. That's not really going to happen, but I'm just saying that's just an idea. So when you got a queen, you have a lot of power, especially if your opponent is not even close to getting a queen. So the first move order of operation here is to go ahead and clear the H file here, and that would just be by pawn takes pawn. And then you just simply push. I mean, it's just that easy, just like that. And again, you still would have a little technique to win that game, but that's just it's really not that hard. All right, so okay, first of all, this is almost equal material. Well, it kind of is. It is equal material because you have 3 pawns for the knight as black. So what can we do here to kind of negate that? So in this case, as we see, there's no reasonable checks. But when you got a knight near 2 enemy pieces that are on the same color, you want to check to see if there's a fork. So in this case, if we win one of these rooks for that knight, and then you just have 2 rooks versus a rook, even though he has extra pawns, that's a way different scenario than having 2 rooks versus 2 rooks and a knight with some passed pawns. So in this case, the move should be knight fork, and we just simply take just like that. Now this, again, if you follow the march of checks, captures, and forced moves, this would be really easy to see, because you can see you have a check here, and you should be in your mind thinking, if you're in a position like this, oh, I need to activate my piece. So don't really, whenever you see your piece is attacked by enemy piece like this, take your time first and say, wait a minute, is there any other intermediate move I can execute before rescuing that piece? And there he is. And this, again, this check here. So this is going to lead to mate, because white has no choice, because this was, don't forget, checks, captures, and forced move. That was a check, capture, and this was a forced move, king to H1, because of this bishop covering these 2 squares here. And now we look at, go through our same mnemonic again, check, captures, and forced moves. You want to evacuate this bishop, but that bishop comes with check and mate, just like that. Now this one here is obviously going to be perhaps some type of mate. And if you look at what a position that the king right now technically is stalemated, because he has nowhere to move, and it's black's move. So if black could deliver a check without exchanging any piece, this would be checkmate, right? So he can do that just on this square. When he put his queen here, there's no escape squares. White is in check. Therefore, white is checkmated. Now, this move here, I think, let's see. I think we are supposed to see. In this position right here, I think that, let's see here. First of all, the thing I notice is that we have this thematic check here on this diagonal, and you also have a knight hop here at some point if you need that to your disposal. Okay. Oh, that's another thing. You can always draw arrows if you want. I try to not draw arrows when I'm doing this, but I'm only drawing arrows here for illustration to help, people. Because again, I know this might be a broad audience that's watching this video, so I want everybody to have accessibility to this. So, and don't forget, there's always some kind of way that you could probably hop your knight right here with the check, open this file up over here. Not saying that's the right thing to do, but you want to be, this is the kind of stuff you want to be looking at. You also want to see that, well, we got this rook hitting this bishop, being x-rayed by this knight. Also, this bishop over here is loose. So there's lots of things in this position to account for. So first thing we could do is that we are going to threaten smothered mate. And at the end of that line with smothered mate, these two pieces right here are going to be under attack by our queen and by this rook on this file. So let me show you how this mechanism works. So whenever you got a knight here hitting this f7 or say h3 square, if you can deliver a check on this diagonal, usually it is super powerful. So now, if you're familiar with the smothered mate with the knight and the queen, you can automatically see that when you go here, black is forced to take this knight. If not, he would be checkmated. So once he takes, now take a look at this. Both of those minor pieces were under attack. Now, this is a case of just simply checking and mating here, because if you deliver a check here, king is forced to go back to h8, rook here check, and just a few moves with the queen, and then the rook and it'll be mate, just like this. All right, so now let's take a look at what exactly is going on here in this position. Black just pushed on this side of the board, excuse me, threatening this. So what can we do about this? Oh, I see. Again, you go for your checks and captain force move. Y'all, and always look for loose pieces. This is another theme that as you get better at playing chess, whenever you see an unprotected piece, take notice of it. See if there's any kind of way you can exploit that. So in this case, we absolutely can exploit that with queen to e3 check. And then we just pick this knight up because it's unprotected, just like that. And now we have to get out of here without losing our queen, which is pretty easy. It's only one square to go to for our queen, which is here. So we just go here. That's the end of that. Black here is threatening a trade. We don't want to trade. We could win two pieces right here, but is that two pieces good enough? That's the question, which means that if we go rook takes rook check, knight takes rook, queen takes with check, bishop backs up. What now? Oh, we just go back down, because don't forget, this knight is hanging at the end of this line. So if we can do that, I believe that this here should be winning. Okay, just step back here. We win all our material back with an advantage. Let's see here. First thing I notice is that we go here. This knight would be hanging. This bishop would be hanging. He would have to back his bishop back up to here. So how can we take advantage of that? Oh, I see. But if we move the knight, we can deliver a check. So basically the move here is to make, now think about it. If we took this knight right here out of the equation, let's just move it over here, down here for a second. If we could deliver a check on this diagonal with the queen, we'd win this bishop. And how can we do that? All we have to do, excuse me, is just push this right here. Oops, I didn't, hold on, let's go back and take a look at that. I don't see why that's not winning. Okay, we'll just let that one go. So I missed my first goal, but that's okay. Yeah, this one is just more or less just moving your rook out of the way. What it's called, I guess, evacuating the square you need. And they're just going to get a queen. It's just that simple. Black is threatening checkmate right now. So we cannot allow that. Now, don't forget, now this is somewhat hard to see. Now, if you look at these two squares right here of the knight, it's covering these two squares. So we can, some kind of way had the king on this square here and deliver the check with this rook here. He'd be forced to go back to this rank and then we would just drop back with the mate. So therefore we have to take drastic measures here. And sometimes you have to, when you think about checks, no matter how, sometimes no matter how crazy they look, you have to think about what's happening. So in this case, if we take this, and now we can see that the power of delivering this check with the knight and the rook forces the king back, and we just deliver mate with the second rook. Now this is just simply just a if you think about if we could get the king here and deliver check here, we'd win a second piece. So basically this here is just winning a piece, because once we take this bishop, he has to take the rook, or if he don't, well, we just have a free piece for nothing. But either way, we're about to win a piece for nothing, because again, whenever pieces are unprotected, always look to see if you can exploit that. So we can exploit that. Oh, wait a minute, hold up, because if he goes here, actually, if we go queen here, he can move out his knight to here. Wait a minute, let's rethink this. Actually, that's not right, because the knight can block. Let's go back and think about this a little bit here. Knight blocks. Oh, knight, if knight blocks, then we bring the rook into the game here. He has to protect that rook, and then we can therefore we can take this pawn here. So I think that is the move. So let's see. Hopefully this is right. Okay. So now come here. This is a little long-winded one, I think, but well, he didn't do what I thought he was gonna do. I thought he was gonna come here with the knight, but in that case, we just simply take here, and that's just it. Okay, so now this is interesting. If we look at the king, believe it or not, the king is stalemated at this point. If you think about, look at it, look how crazy this is. The king has no square. He can't go to this square. He can't go to this square. He can't go to this square because this bishop is holding those squares. This pawn holding this square. So we can deliver a check to the king. It'll be mated. So in this case, if we just put our knight here, that's mate. This, let's see. Yeah, we deliver a check here. This here will end up being mate. So we're just going to come here. You can just go with your check, captures, and force move. And this, although this might be several moves, I mean, these should be really natural, easy moves to follow. So I'm not even going to calculate it. I just know if I go here, take this, he takes that. Well, I could just go ahead and win the queen, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Just like that. All right, so now, let's see, what can... Oh yeah, this here is just winning winning an exchange. Again, this is a little bit hard to see because everything is clumped together. But if you realize, if you take this knight here, and there's always going to be a check here or a check here, and that's going to actually expose this rook here at some point. So we just simply just go ahead here and take this. And always, again, take a look at which squares. Whenever you have your knight, a knight is so deadly because this is the reason why. Because when it's near your enemy king and another piece, there's always a chance for you to get forked with it like this right here, and actually just win everything at that point. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is just winning a piece. Take the queen, because don't forget, don't always look for X-rays. Don't forget this piece is, again, look for loose pieces. This piece is loose. The knight is down here. So when we take this right here, and we just simply take this here, that just exposes this bishop here just to being captured, just like that. All right, so this is just a simple matter of the queen being trapped. We just go to rook to g6, and the queen has no reasonable escape square. That's just that simple. Well, it did have an escape square, but it doesn't ultimately have an escape square. I'll put it like that. Oh, really? It did? I gotta say, I didn't see that at all. But that means that still we're on the right track here. This is why chess. This is exactly why chess is so tricky. Oh, but now we come back here and look at this skewer with winning a rook. Now he can take both pieces, but we end up just backing our bishop back. So basically, you're gonna end up with a queen against a bishop and rook. But because the queen is centralized and the king is gonna easily come out, this would be an easy win here for black, just like that. Wow, that was something. But you see, you can deliver a check. There's going to be nothing in the world. And don't forget, you are threatening mate here. So everything you do is going to have to be with check. As you see this diagonal here, there's a potential for a check at some point after you go through your mnemonic or your, I guess, mantra, I guess. Checks, captures, and force moves. So you deliver this check. And now this right here just basically blocks off the only escape square right here so you can deliver a mate with the queen. Is basically what this does. Okay. This here is going to be a checkmate. You have to be comfortable with, I guess, let's see, is this going to have to sacrifice a piece here? Let's see here. How's we going to handle this? Thinking about going here first, checking this, and just seeing what happens if I go there. So, of course, he takes the knight. And then let's see what happens if we go. Let's see here. Okay, so we go queen takes. I mean, queen did h6, check. Knight takes. I mean, queen takes knight. If I'm just saying, I'm just kind of going through this line to see does it work anything out. And queen takes h7. I mean, king could just go to f. Well, it can go anywhere, f6 or to f8. It wouldn't really matter, I don't think. So maybe that's not the move. Oh, okay. Wow. I am blind. This is his queen is hanging. This is another one like, yeah, so this is another problem that you got to overcome. Sometimes there's so many things going on, you might miss an obvious move. And again, that's why come everybody is not grandmaster. There's nothing wrong with that. You miss stuff like this. So anyway, when we take this right here, there's really just, I mean, there's just nothing to be done. It's just just a free queen. Now in this case here, if we push this pawn forward, well, I think most people should be familiar with what you call the pincer mate. It's almost like a crab pincer. It's pinching down on this square right here in front of this queen right here. So we put this pawn right here. This is what you call what I think is called a pincer mate, because you have this queen hitting this square, and it's knight also hitting g2, and there's nothing you can do to stop it because the king is stalemated, and nothing can stop your queen from getting to g2. So therefore, we just go like that. So in this case, we can just step up because don't forget we're always threatening queen here, no matter what. So we're just going to step up here. Oh, don't forget. Hold up. We step up. Bishop takes. Bishop. Then what happens? That's the philosophical question to be answered here. Let's take a look here and see what we think. Actually, our bishop on F1 is hit by the bishop and the knight. So let's figure out how can we get out of that. We're in check at the moment. So we only have two options to get out of this check. We can go queen. We can either go queen to d8 or king to e7. King to e7 seems the most reasonable move because if we trade queens, well, we have nothing else going on. Because if he go queen takes queen check and then take our bishop, well, we're just down a rook and a minor piece for absolutely nothing. Now, if we go king to, so only king to e7 is the move. But what are we going to do when our bishop gets taken on the next move? Actually, we're going to go up and threaten mate on g4. And once we threaten mate on g4, what's exactly going to happen? That's the question. Oh, so no matter what, there will be a mate at that point. Yeah. So that's the move, yeah. This takes a little seeing here, so we're going to come here. We're threatening mate right here. So no matter where he moves his bishop, we'd either check, excuse me, check on h3 or check here. So in this case, it doesn't matter. He's just giving us his queen for nothing, and we'll take it. This is the old, I guess, sacrifice a rook down the h file. So when you think about it, if you can get a queen on the square right here, right now, that would be checkmate. This file is open, so therefore, if we sacked our rook and he goes over in this corner, we can also bring our queen back to h2 with check, because we can't go to h4 with check because it's protected by the queen. So if we go here, and this is a thematic pattern, so kind of remember this pattern here, that this pawn right here and this rook right here, it kind of blocks the king. And so when we deliver this check right here, this is decisive. And mate here. First of all, what we're going to do, we're under attack with this pawn here. We can't go pawn takes pawn because he'll just go bishop takes pawn and win our queen. So we have to go somewhere, which is here, to threaten this knight. But what are we going to do after bishop to b7? Not b7, bishop to d7. Usually, in a case like this, not a lot of pieces are developed, so you kind of have, there's really no other option here. I mean, you have to go here. So if you think about it that way, this is a forced move on your behalf. You have no checks, you have no reasonable captures, and you are forced to move that queen. So the queen has to go here. So again, first of all, you don't even have to calculate past the first move, because in the case like this, you have to go right here. There's nothing else you can do here. Now, how can we get him to move this right here and, have this vulnerable knight. So what we can do, now that this bishop here is hit by our knight, in this case, now we can just take this, because now no matter what white does, we can always just move our queen and still protect our knight just like that. Or knight or queen take knight if knight takes knight. Just like that. I'll see this right here automatically. So at the very least, right now, we could win a piece. Right? Because if we go, yeah. So this would be the move. Just go ahead and take this bishop right here. And you just win a free piece. And at the same time, you still had this threat right here. So he has to like step up, and that's just essentially it. I mean, there's no, there's really just no trickery here other than that, I don't think. Okay. Well, if we look at this square, this square, this square, this is like a version of back rank mate. So we can deliver a check to this queen while holding these three squares. It will be mate, and we can do that with our queen here to a3. Just that simple. It's a little hard to see because everything is spread out, but sometimes you have to see long, what I like to call long distance moves. Now, in this case, you have multiple checks. That makes sense. You have this check here with the rook. You have a check, um, here. That makes sense. Now, this check here does not make sense on C5 because you just go queen takes queen, and well, that doesn't make any sense to do that. So I would think going to take, because we have these squares here blocked by the bishop, we're going to eventually get this king back with our queen on. It's a simple pattern. I've seen it multiple times, and this is why you want to go slow in these puzzles. And you're going to eventually get the king back on G1 and deliver a check with this rook, and it's going to be decisive. So in this case, if you're attacking, get your queen a bit closer first. You don't always have to do that, but in this case, this is what you'd have to do. And it's just that simple. You just come over here, deliver this check, and then when he comes back to the G file, you deliver the check with the rook, and that'll be made. So now, let's see. Now, rook is under attack, and we don't like that. So what can we do to get our rook from being attacked? Well, we could bring our rook to here. I don't know if that's a good move. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a lot going on. So when you plan in a position like this, again, checks, captures, and forced moves. This here is a forced move here in this case that you're going to put on black. So when you back this bishop up to here, you're threatening this queen. But at the same time, you're forking his queen and his knight. So therefore, white just blundered and dropped a piece. Although this looks pretty natural for black to do, he just lost a piece just like that. What? That wasn't take that? Okay. I'll say that's pretty interesting. All right, so this is another one of those positions where just the pattern. So in other words, you don't want to check with the queen because you're giving them an out. So you want to check with the bishop. This is just winning the queen. I think you win the queen. Let's see. Pretty sure the first move is to go here. Yeah, this is winning the queen because you're gonna axis mate on top of that. Yeah. So now we want to get out of the pincer. We want to get this pincer mate going here. So how can we get this pincer mate without having too many issues here? Let's see here. This here is a little tricky here because ideally you'd want to get your queen here without the queen being here, so the queen can also come to F8 for the defense. Oh, this involves a sacrifice. So if you come here with takes, for example, if you take right here, whichever pawn, if you took with the other pawn, you just pull your bishop right here and there'll be no stopping queen on H8, which would be mate. But in this case, you have to push this pawn right here. Because don't forget, you're setting up this pincer mate here because your queen is going to land on F6. But in this case, he's probably just going to go ahead and take it with his queen, which would make sense. We'll see what the computer does. Okay, it doesn't. So anyway, we just come here. We got our goal because we're going to put our queen here, and black cannot come to the defense on F8. Well, he can, but it just loses a piece here. Our thematic check. Don't forget the queen. I mean, the knight is hitting this square here. We have this thematic check right here, and it's just that simple. We're going to deliver. We're going to win the exchange and likely have a mate here. Because we're threatening mate in two ways right now. Should we go ahead and take the... I guess we can go ahead and take this pawn. Take the pawn with the rook. Or would you take queen? Queen takes queen. I think going ahead and taking rook takes pawn. Because again, you still want a pawn and you're still just... I mean, you're going to stop this pawn over here. Anyway, you even got time just to go grab a pawn or two and then even come back. So let's make sure that there's no sort of mate anywhere. No, there's no mate. So I'm assuming this is it. Let's see. Yep. This wins, I believe, at least the exchange with an attack because of this rook coming here, because I can automatically see this check here. I don't see anything else. So we do that. We're gonna go ahead and take this. Oh yeah, we're gonna win the bishop too because we're gonna bring the rook here. And then if he pull his queen here, then we're just gonna attack it with a pawn. Just that simple. All right. Oh, the move here first is to take with check. Now, don't forget, this is a back rank weakness because if you look at this knight is holding this square. Remember sacrificing the queen earlier? in this because don't forget you got to deliver everything with check. So don't do the wrong move order here because he is threatening mate. So if you was to go here with queen first, that would be wrong. But the move order is to take here with check first so that knight cannot be guarding this square along with this rook. So therefore we can sacrifice our queen with a back rank mate no matter what because we are taking this knight with check. And we just scoot here and come in and deliver mate just like that. This is just a simple case of winning a queen because we're just going to do a discovered check onto the queen. So if you think about this check here, it opens up this rook on a discovered check right here. So I think this is, it got to be what this is. Just that simple. We're going to take the queen first and take this, and that's just it. Now this, let's see. Black is threatening our pawn, but what can we do about this threat with our pawn? What can we do? Let's see here. Now we took the rook. We go check. Okay. No. I was thinking about going queen to b7 and taking the rook with the queen, but no, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, actually, no, because we can't. Now, we could, for example, magically just take the queen like right, I mean, take his rook off the board and take my queen off the board right now and put his queen in the place of his rook. I know there's a lot I just said, but then I could deliver check with rook to d8 and win the game. So let's see, is that even a possibility here? Oh, now if we go rook to, now check this out. We go rook to d7. If he take with the rook, well, we just slide in and go. Yeah, so that has got to be the move. Rook to d7. Because if he takes with the rook, then we just go rook to d8 with mate. And he takes with the queen, well, we just go rook takes. Rook takes queen, and that's the end of the game. So this has got to be it, I hope. All right, yeah, he did what I thought he was going to do. All right, so this is, I want to say, some sort of checkmate, or we're going to win his queen. So let's think about what's happening here. If we go here first with check, he can only step up or step to d8. Do we have any checks here? That's the thing. So don't forget, we got this knight right here. If we can get his king to c7, that would be a check with winning the queen. So pretty much, and we got in 2 pieces of 4. So everything is going to have to be with check here for sure. Let's see here. What can we do? He goes here. This is tricky. Now we went bishop to c5 check first, what would happen? Well, he just dropped his knight back. That's what would happen. So that's pretty much a no-go. So we go bishop to f7 check. Again, you can only go to e7 or d8. If it goes to e7, what are we going to do? Oh, if he goes to e7, then we just take. Oh, yeah, I see now. No, never mind. Because again, we want to. Oh, yeah. We're going to have to go queen takes queen first. And then deliver a check. Some kind of way we're going to go with check with one of these knights and win one of his rooks. That's what's going to happen here. It's just a move order. Okay, so we go check with the bishop. Step up. Queen takes check. So the other way, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we could go queen takes queen first, but I don't really know. If we go queen takes queen, I think we should go bishop here first. This is hard to calculate here because there's so many different ways this could go. So we're going to go, my intuition is telling me that it's bishop to f7 check. And if he steps up, I think it's here. Let's go here. Oh, nope, I got that wrong. I want to go see that puzzle there. Wow, that was amazing. I just cannot believe that. I just want to see the solution to this puzzle here. I'm not even going to play it out. Oh, I missed that check. Wow. Okay, yeah, I missed that check. All right, so that was a good run there, and as we see that these puzzles can get really tough. So the puzzle rating here was 2566. Now, what I will say that these puzzles are not exactly rated to what they say. They're much higher because again, I've got another. When I play normal puzzles, right now I'm at almost 3100, and the puzzles are about this strength right here. So again, this has been a a chess.com tutorial on how to use survival mode in Puzzle Rush to develop habits to get better patterns, for pattern recognition, also to be able to come up with plans, how to think about it, and also hoping that I can encourage you to set goals to where you can reach a certain level. Because again, my personal daily goal is I try to get to 50 um, um, 50 puzzles and try to get through the first 40 without missing one. And guess what? I don't play chess until I actually do that. So there you have that. So once I finish that goal for that day, then I play chess for that day. Usually it takes me about 2 to 3 tries. Sometimes it might take me no more than 5 tries to do that. But again, set yourself a goal, guaranteed you will see some results.